Hi, my name's Kathy Barker from Software Solutions, and what I want to do is share this video with you showing you how you create a form in Microsoft Word and then how you turn it into a fillable form using Adobe Acrobat. You can see at the moment on my screen that I'm in Microsoft Word and I just want to create a really simple form, maybe just a simple feedback form. So I'll type feedback. I'm just going to select this text and I'm just going to increase the size of it. I like using Control-Shift greater than. Control-Shift greater than grows the selected text and Control-Shift less than shrinks the selected text. Now if I want to center that text, I just use Control-E and that centers it on the page. So it's a feedback form. Now I'm going to insert a table because I think tables are really great at lining things up. So I'm going to go to Insert in the menu, or the ribbon I should say, and I'll go for the Table button. If I click on Table, I might just choose a 2x1 table. Now in the first cell, I just want to request the person's name, and then I'll press Tab to jump to the second cell, and I'll press Tab again to generate a new row. I might then ask for their address, Tab, Tab. I'll ask for their phone number, Tab, Tab, and I might then start asking some questions. For example, what's the best date to contact you? What date is best? Then I might add another row that says, how did you hear about me? And another row that says, would you like to know about special offers? And so there's a simple form, for example. I can also resize some of these rows, like I might resize the height of the address row and make it taller. I might bring this column in just by stretching this vertical line. But I've created a very simple form that requires people to fill in. I'm going to save this form by pressing F12. The function key F12 is a shortcut key for Save As. And I'm just going to call it Feedback Form and maybe put it on my desktop so it's easy to find. And save. Now I know that I could create a form using Word, but what I now want to do is I actually want to bring in Adobe Acrobat. So I'm going to exit out of Word by hitting the X in the top right corner, and I'm going to jump to Adobe Acrobat DC. Now to create a fill-in form, I'm going to go to my Tools. And in my Tools, I'm going to use the option to prepare form. From here, I can choose a single file, or from a scanner, or create new, or create a web form. I'm going to choose a single file, and I'm going to select this file. I'm going to browse my desktop and find the form that I created called Feedback Form. When I click the Start button here, it will start to create a form based on this Word document, and just let it do its thing. And here's my form now appearing in Adobe Acrobat. What Adobe has done is it's chosen to put fields in for me, such as name, address, phone, what date is best, how did you hear about us, and would you like to know about specials. Now imagine if it hadn't done that. It's great that it did do that. I don't want to take that away. But imagine if it hadn't. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to select Control A and then press the delete key to delete all those fields. What I want to do is I want to add my own fields. And so what I do is use these buttons here up on the Prepare Form toolbar. Now I want to start with just a straight text. And if I rest on this button here, this is a text field. If I click this option and then click here, it will create a text field. I can give that text field a name or go into All Properties. If I go into All Properties, I can ask for their name, and I'm going to call it full name. And I'm going to say to them, please enter your full name including your first, middle, and last names. I'm going to make it that it's required that they fill this field in, and I'll choose close. I can then readjust the height of that field just by dragging down a little bit and up a little bit, and I can even drag to the right if I wanted to and stretch it a little bit. I could duplicate this simply by going Control C and Control V. I could then drag this and pop it just in here, stretch it, and then right click it and go into its properties. Use the current properties? No, I want to create new properties, so I'll go for the very top option. I want to call this one address. And the tooltip will be, please enter your full postal address. I want to make sure that it is required. What else have we got in here? Appearance. Yeah, okay, I could change the font and the font size and even the look of the border. I could even position it in a certain location. I can make the alignment go to the left. I can check the spelling. I don't really want to do that. And I can also allow them to enter multiple lines in this one field. So I might do that. I could also limit the number of characters that they enter. So maybe I don't want to enter more than 100 characters. So you have options such as that, and then close. Let's do a phone number. Now also notice when I click away that these fields here have a red boundary and red highlighting. That implies that these fields are required, that the person must fill in these fields. I'm going to add another text box. I could copy and paste, and I might actually do that so that all my text boxes are a consistent height. So I'll click on full name, I'll go Control C, Control V, I'll drag it and position it about here, then I'll right click and I'll go into its properties. Notice you can do things in here as well. So I'm going to go into properties, I'm going to call it under general, phone. Please enter the best phone number to contact you on. I need to make it required. If I go to options, I don't want it to be multiple line and I don't want to check the spelling. So I'll make sure that those two are turned off. And I'll go close. So those are my text fields, 3 text fields in fact. Now what I'd like is a date field where they can choose a date. Now looking up here on my toolbar, this particular button here looks like a calendar. And so this lets me add a date field. I'm going to click on this button. I'm going to click about here, go into all properties, and under general, I'll call it best date. And what is the best date for you to meet with us? Now this I'm not going to make it required because they may not be too sure. I'll also have a look under options. I don't need to check the spelling and I'll close. I'll set the height to fit nicely within my table. Doesn't need to be that wide, probably needs to be just that wide. So that's my date field done. And notice when I click away, it's not red. It's actually a black boundary and a black highlight, which means that it's not required. Now what I'd like to do is create a drop down. How did you hear about me? So up here in my toolbox, this little option here is a drop down list. If I click that, then click to the right, go into the properties, go to general and options. The tooltip, how did you hear about me? Choose the best option. And I'll make it required. If I then go to options, this is where I can add all the items that I want to appear in my drop down. So they might have heard about me through the internet. So I'll add that. They might have heard about me through a friend or through work or maybe some sort of newspaper or radio. Failing all of those options, just put other. I can sort these items, I can move them up, move them down, and I can also delete items. I'm just going to sort them using this option here. I can also allow the user to enter their own custom text if none of these options work. And it will check the spelling. and I'll just go close. I'll then rearrange the height, the position, and the width. I'm just wondering about the look of that text there. I'm going to go back into the properties, right click, properties, and I'm going to look at appearance. So this is 12. I wonder if I need to make all of these 10 so they look better. Let's go close and let's drag around and select all of these fields. Let's right click and let's go into properties. Let's go into appearance and let's make all of them 10. And close. And that way I know they'll fit nicely. Would you like to know about our specials? Now this I'd like to be a tick box. So I'm going to go for this button here in my toolbar. I'll click just to the right. I'll go into the properties. Now, the name of it will be specials. Do you want to know about any of our promotions? I'll make it not required. Appearance, that's fine. Position, that's fine. Options, the style is a checkbox. I could make it a circle or a cross or a diamond or a square. There's different looks. But I'm just going to go for a check. And check box is checked by default. So it's ticked by default. No. And that's as far as I want to go with that. So I'll just resize it. So I'm happy with its look. And basically I've created a fillable form. If I want to preview the form and see how it looks, that's my preview option here. What I can do is then test it. So my name is Kathy Barker and autofill is turned on. My address. Notice I can put multiple lines. My phone number. The date is a drop down, so I can choose maybe the end of this month, the 30th. How did they hear about? Maybe the internet. And would you like to know about our specials? Sure. So I'll tick it. And so you can see I've created a fillable form using Adobe Acrobat. If I then go to edit, I can clear the form simply by going to more, and then I've got the option here, clear form. And that just takes it back to its defaults. If I want to save the form, I can simply go to File, Save As. I might choose a different folder. No, desktop's fine. But I will call it Feedback Form Fillable. And save. So now I have the option to distribute the form. How do I want to distribute it? I've got a variety of ways I could do this. I could hit the distribute button and I could send an email. If I click continue, then I'm able to use Adobe Acrobat, or I could actually save a local copy and manually send it later, but I'll use Adobe. Then I say who I want to send it to. I say what the subject is. And I can edit this message here. If I then click send, it's emailed that form using my default email, which is Outlook. And I'll be able to track the progress of that particular form using the Adobe tracking option. So I can see that a total of 1 recipient has been sent the form. No, they haven't responded yet. Not responded. And I can keep an eye on the responses during view responses. I'll close the tracker and the form is closed. If I want to know how that form's going, I can just bring up the form. And if I then go to prepare form, I have the option track, and I can easily track the progress of that particular form at any point in time. So I hope you've enjoyed that.